Okay,
You said you wanted me in.
I'll let you talk. Go ahead, knock yourself out.
I can't sit back and just listen to. Where is there proof that any political party has said you have to go into this abortion clinic and have an abortion? Democrats allow for the option for a woman to decide. Again, I said I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I myself personally have had an abortion because I have kids. I have my own kids, and I decided I had enough kids and one more would be too much.
Why didn't you decide that before you had unprotected sex?
Interestingly enough, I was planning on freezing eggs so that if I wanted to have kids in the future, I could have more kids, but I wasn't.
That's irrelevant to the question or what you did.
No, Brandon, interrupting is obviously something that you do. I was choosing to fertilize eggs to potentially have a child in the future. And nobody said, hey, while you're doing this, while you're taking these meds, don't use protection, because most people are going to a fertility clinic because they can't have kids. I was going because I wanted to be able to make that decision later and not have to worry about it because of my age, but I wasn't sure that I wanted more kids. I don't believe in God. I don't subscribe to any religion. So I'm not looking at this as like a moral or ethical decision. Like, it's not unethical, in my opinion, to decide not to continue a pregnancy because, as I said in the comments, 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage. God, if he exists, is the largest abortionist of any person, of any color. So if it's more Black babies that are dying, I mean, statistically, it's even across all peoples of all different colors, right? God doesn't discriminate. He's just killing babies. If he decides to kill them, 1 in 4 pregnancies ends in miscarriage.
Okay, you don't believe in God, but then you bring up God. And if God...
Because clearly God is something that matters to you.
We're not interrupting. That's what you said. That was your rules. If God gives the life, so he has the right to take the life. You have the power to give a life, but you also have the science to interrupt the process of creating life. So in the event that so that there is not an unwanted pregnancy, you chose to not utilize the science that you have that would have prevented the pregnancy outright, and then destroy the child in your womb just because you chose to be careless. I'm married too. I have children too. Me and my wife aren't trying to have a child right now, so she went and got an IUD stuck in her so she wouldn't produce children, and then we got to go down to the clinic and eradicate them.
Brandon, there are certain
instances... You're irresponsible. That's what that means.
No, there are certain instances where people cannot use birth control.
We're not talking about people. We're talking about you.
Yeah, me specifically.
You can't use a condom? There's a million types of birth control. Stop with that.
I cannot use a condom because I don't have a penis.
You cannot make your husband you can use a diaphragm.
Brandon, not everyone.
Here we
People
go.
have allergies to latex. 1.
Ma'am, your husband could get a vasectomy.
And he did.
You could take the birth control pill.
No, you can't. I have a rare condition that predisposes me to clots, so I cannot.
Okay, you can get a loop. You could get the ring inserted in your...
And you're not thinking in terms of a woman. You're thinking in terms of a man. And you
Ma'am, a man cannot take there's a shot you can get
which causes brain tumors.
Okay, there's a million types of birth control. Even getting an abortion could cause blood clots, because my sister got an abortion and got blood clots all through her body.
Why do you think that is, Brandon?
Because she shouldn't have been aborting babies.
No.
Because she chose to have unprotected sex.
Pregnancy is a hypercoagulable state, meaning that you have more blood volume and you're at a higher risk for blood clots, period. It is more dangerous to carry a pregnancy to term than it is to have an abortion.
This is a lie.
This is not a lie. I'm a clinician. I know.
Ma'am, you sat up and said you don't believe in God, then called God the greatest abortionist of all time.
You didn't read
You
my comment. I said, if he exists, he is the greatest abortionist.
you
Or
like my
it.
sister when she was 15 years old chose to have unprotected sex. You say that you fear pregnancy, but you were literally trying to get pregnant. Your words. You also have other children, so that means you have no problem carrying children to term. You are bringing up a bunch of things that do not apply to you as reasons for you slaughtering your baby in the womb.
Well, it doesn't matter because my
And it
baby
makes
wasn't
it
black, right?
and it makes it extra. Yep, it doesn't matter. So that's the whole thing. But people like you teach black women to have your murderous mindset. And
No,
then
I'm not
say
teaching
the problem
anybody
is,
to be
listen,
like me or to
you're
make
worse
decisions the
than
way that I
any
make
black man
decisions.
on earth. Because if a black man hits a black woman, you'll say he's a monster. But if you train a black woman to kill millions of black children, oh, you're innocent. You're trying to help them. You guys tell black women you're helping them. But the reality is you're murderous, and you probably get off on teaching them to murder their children in the womb.
I'm sorry, but it's not murder. It's not.
Yes,
If
it
it were
is.
murder, if it were murder, then nobody would believe in God, right? Because he takes 1/4 of the babies from every person that's ever pregnant. 1/4 and in miscarriage.
It's God's fault that you have a miscarriage, but we're not even going to ask what is this woman doing while she's carrying a baby that could possibly lead to a miscarriage.
Why is it that men always have to blame women when something goes wrong with a pregnancy?
Never
It's
blamed
not.
women.
It's a clump of cells that is growing into a
It's
human.
not a
There's
clump of
so many.
cells.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's a baby. It has a heart. The heart is beating. When my daughter was my daughter was tiny like a seed. My daughter was tiny like a seed. They put the ultrasound to my wife's belly, and I heard boom, boom, boom. I said, "What the hell is that?" She said, "That's the heartbeat." I said, "Whoa, that little seed has a heartbeat?" The lady said to my face, "It's because it's alive." That was at Kaiser, 2009.
Yeah, so alive that if you took it out of the body right then and there, it wouldn't be alive. What is the age of viability for a fetus?
Fetus is viable from the moment of conception.
No.
Yes.
It's not viable on its own outside of the mother until 22 weeks, and that is like very,
outside
very
of the mother.
Correct. It is a parasite.
It's a symbiotic relationship, which is not a parasite.
It's a parasitic relationship.
No, it's not. It's a symbiotic.
What does the mother get from
You don't even know the definition of symbiotic, so you call it a parasite. That's the difference. You're a clinician, but you don't even know the difference between symbiotic and parasitic.
What does the mother get from the child?
The mother sustains the child.
That's parasitic.
That's not parasitic. Because if it was parasitic, a parasite can leave the body and go to another host and survive just fine. A baby can't do that. You can't detach a baby in the womb, throw it in another womb, and it survives. You can't do that.
But a symbiotic relationship is mutually beneficial versus
one
way. The mother is
man.
growing the fetus. The mother's nutrients are feeding the fetus. The fetus is not giving something back to the mother.
Wait. If it's not alive, how's it getting fed?
It's getting fed through the placenta and the umbilical cord.
But if it's not alive, why does it need anything from the mother? You just said that the baby is just a clump of cells that's not alive. Then you said that the mother is feeding the baby. Then you said that the baby is feeding through the placenta. What object that's not alive needs to be fed?
Viruses. They utilize the cells to
Viruses
do that.
are living. Viruses are alive. What are you talking about?
Not outside of the human body.
I didn't say that. But viruses
is not alive outside.
But viruses are in fact alive. Now show me an object that is not alive, that is inanimate, that needs to be fed.
Would you consider a plant alive?
Because a plant is a life form. It breathes and feeds.
No, I'm sorry, but your argument is ridiculous. And
what?
I think
this is third grade science, lady.
No, it is not.
A plant is not alive.
A relationship is mutually beneficial. A parasitic relationship is where one feeds off of the other. A baby does not provide something to its mother. The mother only provides to the baby so that the baby can grow to an age of viability outside of the mother. And until a man can grow a fetus and push it out of a hole that it shouldn't fit out of, I don't think they really get to say whether or not a woman can have that choice. And that choice should be available. Nobody is pushing somebody to an abortion clinic. Democrats are saying, yes, you have the option for it. And Republicans are creating a socioeconomic situation where people are forced to make that decision.
All right, we went past you to AI, to science, because you clearly ain't working with a full deck. Clearly says right here, yes, a pregnancy is a complex biological symbiotic relationship, especially a form of mutualism known as a maternal fetal unit. While the fetus depends on the mother for nutrition and oxygen, they reciprocally influence each other's physiology, metabolism, and immunity for mutual survival, making it a co-organized, cooperative system. Before medical science, if the baby died, the mother died. You're wrong.
No,
You're
that's absolutely not
wrong.
true, because then the mom would die every time there's a miscarriage, Brandon.
You said what?
If the baby died, then the mother also died. The mom would die every time there's a miscarriage. Because what do you think a miscarriage is?
There's medical science to prevent that from happening. Or else they would still be dying from miscarriages. You don't know what you're talking about. And the sad part is you've built up this opinion on slaughtering your children and encouraging people to slaughter theirs based on just a lack of basic knowledge.
Brandon, but what I need to understand here is you think that if a woman had a miscarriage at 7 weeks back in the 1900s, they died.
There was a chance she could get an infection and die. What are you talking about? My wife got an infection from after birth from my daughter, and she almost died. Thank God I told her, get up now, we're going to the hospital. And they were like, yeah, you had an infection. So what are you talking about? See, you guys do these things because you've been brainwashed. And it's a coping mechanism. You wanted to have sex, you wanted to get raw dick, but you didn't want the results of it. You want to arbitrarily choose when to take a life. You're basically a sociopath and a murderer. That's all I'm saying. Like, clump of cells.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You had dropped off, but I put you back.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I appreciate your bravery.
Wow, that was really painful.
Most people don't like to tell people that they're crazy. But you got up here and you were like, shit, me, I'm fucked up. So, damn, I'm glad you kept the ones you kept, though. I don't know. If my daughter was saying some shit like that, I'd be so pissed off. Like, don't ever devalue life like that. Life is valuable. But yet, and still, you're probably one of the people, justice for Palestine and all this crap. Care about those lives, but don't care about the life. That's why I know that this whole liberal stuff is just fake, man. It's just fake. It's fake outrage, toxic empathy. Oh, she was talking to somebody. She probably about to go do something right now. Anyway,